Alright, so in the previous customization lessons, we have already seen how to customize the layout and the look and feel of the Kali Linux in order to make it look good, and also to help in being more work through the Kali Linux in an easy way to find it everything in a consistent way. So now let's start the workspace that we already discussed in the customizations and the introduction of the Kali Linux lessons. So as we can see here, the current workspace 1 and the current workspace 2 that can be switched from using the mouse wheel of the mouse. You can use that wheel to scroll from one space to second space, workspace. Now let's customize it. So just right click there. We're coming to the workspace setting, and here we can see this is 1, 2. And we can also increase it according to ourselves. So if I'm increasing it to 5 and or 4, we can say, we can also rename it. So the for only command. So if I'm using the terminal name, I can use any name here. You can too, and that's all for these two workspace renaming. You can also rename everything from here. We can also change the margins, but this doesn't make any changes to the look and feel, but that will help you to make a setting for the workspace margins from the corners and the side edges of the Windows screens. So moving back to the general, we can now see there are 4 workspaces. Now close it, and we can see here, this is for name the terminal, this is the graphical user interface. So if I want to use this workspace for only the terminal or the command line tools, so I can use that in a different way using many terminals, opening up here many one, and we can also switch to another one that will be the graphical user interface. So if I'm using another tool like the anything, so if I am using the web browser, suppose for this lesson, I can be sure the first workspace is used for the terminal and the second is used for the graphical user interface tools or whatever in the graphical user interface. Similarly, you can also change the panel settings. Let me close some of the applications and the terminals here, so that workspaces are visible actually, that what are the applications that are running on a particular workspace. So as we can see here, if I am moving to this workspace, there is nothing, but moving back to this one, we can see that the Firefox is running currently. Alright, moving to the first one, coming to the panel settings, and the this is also the part of the customizations and the settings that will change for a user. We can see here on the upper right corner, that is the CPU and the memory and the swap memory, that says everything about how much CPU is consumed and the memory is consumed, so that you can be aware that a particular application is taking a too longer time to load and too longer time to fetch the data, and at the last we can also be sure that the system is not properly configured or doesn't have any sufficient RAM, so that that application can be used accordingly. So we can change that, and going to properties, after right click on the panel, we can now see the transparent style, separator, handle. We can also change that accordingly according to your style. Alright, so now coming to the panel here, we can add new items directly from here or going to panel preferences. So going to panel preferences, we can change everything from here, like the panel 1, we can also add a panel here, but that will not make a difference here. We can see this is the panel, and if I am putting this here, and that will not make any sufficient changes, but for your informations you can keep it for that. So I can remove it using the minus button, and the one panel will be there. We can also change the panel settings, that where it will be appeared. So here it is, vertical and the disk bar, but the default one is horizontal on the upper of the screen. We can also lock the panel, so that there will be no applications moving around using the accidentally click of the mouse button, and automatically hide the panel. So if you automatically hide that, always it will be hidden, and once you move your mouse, but this is not recommended for the Kali Linux running on the virtual machine, so use it never. And now coming to the adding some of the informations over the panels. So we can see here the style of the panel that have the use system default or the solid color or the background images. You can also add background images according to your choice using this selection. Coming to the items, we can add as much items as possible and as per the spaces available over the panel that is here available. Coming to the what I have added is the system load monitor. So I have added this that says the CPU memory and the swap memory. We can also know the information about the what this particular application or the particular tool will be doing and actually working. How we can see this by after clicking it, and we can see what are the options: CPU with the color blue, memory monitor with the green, and the swap memory with the yellow color. We can also see the uptime monitor that will say here, and here are the commands that will be working on system monitor. We can add as much as, so if I want to add some of the applications here, so that will be from the add plus button here, and moving to the, we can see a lot more applications are there, like the window buttons, workspace switcher that is already there, and disk performance monitor is as well, free space checker, date and time, CPU graph. We can add it accordingly. So that's all for these lessons to customize the workspace, and this is actually a fantastic options that is given to the Kali Linux that help assist a user who is going to work on. So going to work on the first user space for the using the nmap command line tool, and the second one for the Metasploit. So you will not mess up with the all of the tools that is working on a single screen. You don't need to switch it once again and again. If you are using the mouse, you can use the mouse wheel to control the workspace switcher. Ease of use, easily. That is the best way. But even if you are using a laptop, it is not easiest. You simply click it out and that will be better. We will see that workspace settings in a real world scenarios, where I will be using one tool in the first workspace, and the second one like the Metasploit, third one is the YPT, and the fourth one for the Bub Suite tool, that is the graphical user interface tool. So that's all for this lesson. Just customize it for yourself and see how it actually works according to you. See you in the next lessons.